I'm only 30 pages into this book and I already have a complaint. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I actually had a completely different video planned for this week, but if I'm being completely honest, I can feel myself inching towards a reading slump. So today we're completely changing up the plan and we're gonna be mood reading my TBR. I have so many books on my TBR that are literally sitting there collecting dust because I just keep adding on top of them and I haven't gotten to them. So I'm hoping this week we can get some books knocked off of my TBR. With that being said though, our very first book is going to be a newer release. And I know I said that I wanted to get some books knocked off, but I've been really intrigued by this one and I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it. So our first book is going to be Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I know I've said it and I'll say it again, but I'm a fantasy girl down to my core. I've been reading a lot of summer romance just because it's summertime and I feel like that fits the vibe. But I am really excited for fall and to just dive back into some fantasy. I don't know much about Shield of Sparrows. I did just look it up and it looks like this is going to be a trilogy, which honestly I don't know why I'm getting myself into this because I hate reading unfinished series, because if I really like the book I just want to jump into the second one. This book is available on Kindle Unlimited, so that is where I'm going to be reading it today. Also, can we take a moment for this cover? This cover is absolutely stunning. It's even prettier in the colored version. I prefer reading fantasy books on my Kindle because sometimes it's intimidating the size of fantasy books and I feel like I can read a lot faster on my Kindle instead of having to carry around like a big giant book. The only downside to reading a fantasy book on your Kindle, in my opinion, is that it's harder to flip back and forth between the map and where you're at. I'm one of those people where if they provide me a map, I'm gonna be studying that thing and cross-referencing it because I really love to know where the story's taking place and where we're at and how far the journeys are. So we're not that far into the story, but I have learned a lot about our female main character, Odessa. She's a princess and I actually really love her. She seems like a strong female character. Also have learned a little bit about some of the monsters in this world. You can tell the authors put a lot of thought into this world and the world building, and the monsters have great descriptions. But I have been looking them up on Google to see fan art pictures because that helps me visualize what they look like. The writing is really easy to understand, and even though there is world building, the way it's written doesn't seem confusing. You guys already know what time it is, so let's go get a drink. You know that I have to have my girl playing for this drink run because I have been in such a Taylor Swift mood recently, so immediately playing this album. I'm queuing up my mobile order because I am one of those people that have to have 50 modifications to my order. And I hate saying it through the window because I always feel so bad because I feel like I'm just doing too much. So I have my order literally on speed dial. So that's what we're gonna be doing, is speed dialing this. Just some car thoughts with Naomi, but I'm not a huge Swiftie. I wouldn't say that I'm like a mega fan, but I do love me some Taylor Swift. And so when people say that they don't like her music, I'm like, can you just not understand the lyrics? Drink is secured, and honestly I can't stop thinking about my book. I just want to go home and read it. This book I feel like just jumped right in. There was no moments where I felt like it was just wasted time in the book. Sometimes I feel like the intros to books can be like that, but I didn't feel like that with this book at all. I'm actually so excited, and it literally threw us right into the plot, which I absolutely love. Does anyone else bring their Kindle with them literally everywhere they go? Like, I could literally be going to church and my Kindle will be in my bag, and even though I may not touch it once, it's still gonna stay in my bag. If you asked me at any moment in time, do you have your Kindle on you? The answer would be yes, I always have it on me. It's just my emotional support. So I may actually finish the chapter that I was reading while I sit here in the car and then head back home because I just can't wait. Why do they always make stepmoms like so evil in books and movies? Odessa's stepmom is actually insufferable in my opinion. know if you guys know this, but I'm actually my own nail tech. I'm not licensed by any means, so I'm not giving out any advice. But I've been doing hard builder gel on my nails for a couple months, and they've literally never been stronger or longer naturally. So these are my natural nails. I just filed off my old set. They look a little crusty right now because I still need to do my cuticles and then apply the builder gel. I just finished my nails. Honestly, they're not perfect. I'm gonna go hop in the shower really quick and then we're gonna continue reading our book. Hey guys, so it is now the next day and I have made so much progress on our book. I've had a crazy morning, so I haven't really read this morning, but it is now the afternoon and the rest of my day is clear, so we're going to be continuing reading this book and hopefully finishing it. I'm a little bit over 50% of the way through and it is absolutely flying by for me. I know I said that I was in a reading slump, or inching towards a reading slump, but I feel like this book has cured me. I have been absolutely eating this book up. I don't know what it is about this book, but it's kind of unlike anything that I've read before, and it does have a lot of the same tropes as a lot of other fantasies, but the way that it's written is very refreshing and it seems like something new. If you're looking to get into fantasy, in my opinion, I feel like this is a pretty easy one to understand. It is now almost 5 o'clock and my plans for the rest of the day consist of my Kindle in this couch, and so I'm hopefully going to be able to finish this book today. I'm 70% of the way through and we just had a major plot twist that I was not expecting. I kind of suspected something close to this, but I did not expect exactly this. That's literally so cute. They wrote, "We love you, have a great day" on my cup. Maybe a problem that we're on a first name basis at the Starbucks that I go to. Literally within the last probably 20%, we've discovered so much that's going on. Kind of sad because I'm gonna have to wait for the second and the third book. I feel like I'm starting to connect dots. Ladies, this is why you should never settle, because my hair was blowing in my face on my walk and my husband gave me his hat. It's just the little things, you know? Hey guys, so I just got to the soccer fields to watch Hunter play some pickup. Planning on getting a blanket and sitting out in the grass like I usually do, but it is literally so windy and it kind of looks like it's gonna storm, and so I don't know how long we're gonna be here, but I am just reading in the car right now. I am 85% of the way through. Hey guys, so it is now the next day and I didn't update you guys last night after I finished the book because I just needed a little bit to sleep on my thoughts and come up with a rating for this book. I am going to be rating this book, I think, a 4-star. I went back and forth between a 4 to a 4.5. I just haven't really thought about these characters since I picked up the book last. Really enjoyed it while I was reading it, but it's definitely not a book that is living rent-free in my head. For example, I think about Throne of Glass literally every single day, not to be dramatic, and so that's how you know if it's a 5-star series or not. Maybe just because this is the very first one, but I feel like I'm not super invested into things. While I was reading it, I was, but now that I'm done with the book, I don't think I'm really going to be thinking about it. I will be reading the second one though, just because I do have curiosity. Like, the world building was so simple, so if you haven't picked up a fantasy book before, I would definitely recommend Shield of Sparrows because I felt like it was very easy to understand. I'm very pleasantly surprised with this book because I feel like for me, it's hard to rate a fantasy over over 3 stars. Although fantasy is my favorite genre to read, I feel like most of the time certain things are just overdone in the fantasy world, but this seemed like something new and fresh, which I really appreciated. That book has put me in a fantasy mood, and so I'm going to be jumping into another fantasy. We're going to be reading The Poppy Wars by R.F. Kuang. I have this stunning special edition. All 3 of the Poppy War books are on Kindle Unlimited as well. I'm kind of surprised that I have not read The Poppy War yet because I always see this as a recommendation and I've had it on my TBR for so long, but I'm finally going to pull the trigger and read this series and I'm really excited. I think we're just going to start with the first book, and then if I end up liking the series, maybe the next book we read is going to be the second one. We're going to be switching back and forth between my Kindle and the physical copy. I got this edition at Barnes & Noble and it is absolutely stunning. There's watercolor paintings all the way throughout the book, so it has the sprayed edges. I'm usually not a fan of sprayed edges. I feel like not every book needs them, but I think these ones are just absolutely beautiful and it fits the theme of the book. Like, isn't this just the coolest thing ever? This art is so beautiful. If I am being completely honest, I did start this book last night on my Kindle, but I only got 9% of the way into it because I could not sleep. I've had such bad back pain. I'm not sure why I decided to start reading, but it did end up putting me to sleep because the chapters kind of seem long. I'm only on the first one, but my Kindle says it's 30 minutes long. The dust jacket always needs to come off when I'm reading a book because it just gets in the way. 'Hey guys, so I'm at the park reading because the weather is literally so pretty. Like, look at this. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But I was coming on here to update because I am 50 pages into this book, and I don't know if I'd recommend this if this is one of your first fantasies that you are reading. Because if I'm being honest, there's a lot of politics and there's a lot of history that you have to remember and names already, even though I'm only 50 pages in. So I'm having to turn back the pages a lot to try and remember characters and places and certain events in history so far. Hunter didn't finish one of his burritos that he got, so I went to the front to ask for a bag because the burrito wasn't wrapped very well. This is the size of the bag that I was given for a singular burrito. We just got our breakfast and a drink, of course, starting the Saturday off right. But I wanted to do a little check-in while my sandwich cools off. So yesterday we had a really great Friday. We cleaned out the car, which was very much needed. I watched Hunter play pickup soccer and I tried reading my book, and then we went to late night Taco Bell. Then we came home, watched The Office. I got in bed and I had plans of reading The Poppy War, but let's just say I found myself scrolling on my phone because the politics are confusing me so bad. But I know I just have to push through because world building usually takes a minute. I have some chores that I need to do around the house. I need to start some laundry, and I need to do the dishes, and then a bathroom deep clean. Hey guys, so my husband is out with friends right now. It is about 8 o'clock at night and I really just want to spend a cozy night at home. I really just want to lay in bed and read my book the rest of the night. Okay, so I'm 25% of the way through and I'm honestly enjoying this a lot more than I was. I feel like the story has picked up and I'm starting to get the hang of people's names, places, what teachers teach what, and the politics. I may have just ordered some food. I just ordered Jimmy John's. I always get the Italian nightclub with salt and vinegar chips. So I'm gonna keep reading while I wait for my food. I literally never eat in bed because I hate when there's crumbs in my bed, but I'm feeling a little bit crazy tonight. You can't tell me that is not making your mouth water. Honestly, this is a 10 out of 10 Saturday night. The only thing is that I do miss my husband and he's been gone for like an hour and a half. I just finished eating. It was literally so good. There's nothing better than a cold sub. You cannot convince me otherwise. Good morning, guys. It is bright and early. It is Monday morning. I didn't film at all yesterday, which was Sunday. I really just wanted to spend the day enjoying time with my husband. I just pulled out my Shark for the first time in such a long time. I always use this to blow dry my hair, but I don't ever use these little air wands. I don't even know what they're called. But I decided to give it a try today, and I'm only done with this half of my hair, and it literally took me so long, and I am profusely sweating, and the curls are already falling out. I have not updated you guys on our book yet today, so I'm still reading the Poppy War. It's been, I think, 3 days now, which is honestly a long time for me because I go through books really quickly. I am 53% of the way through. I feel like I've literally been in the car all day, but me and Hunter just got to our favorite Thai restaurant. Thai food is probably one of our favorite cuisines to eat. Hey guys, so it is now 9 o'clock and I am just sitting down to read my book for the very first time today. Just wanted to do a quick update before I get in bed and go to bed. Today was actually a really good and productive day. I feel like I got a lot of stuff done that I needed to get done, and I made a lot of progress in our book. I am now 70% of the way through with this book, so I'm hoping to read probably another 10% while I'm laying in bed. So I will see you guys in the morning, and I'm gonna get some rest and hopefully read a little bit more of our book. I finished the Poppy War last night, but I needed to sleep on my thoughts because I have a lot of thoughts on this book. I'm going to be rating this book a 3 out of 5 stars. To start off my review, I am going to say that this book was very hard for me to get through. I didn't find myself wanting to actually pick it up. It's one of those things where I kind of had to force myself to read it. And so it did take me 6 days to finish this book, which is a very long time for me. There are a few things that I didn't particularly love about this book. I feel like the first one for me was the politics were very confusing in my opinion. I also thought that the pacing of this book was a little bit odd. There is part 1, part 2, and part 3, but it didn't necessarily flow for me. I personally feel like the war happened very abruptly. I know that in the first part it was leading up to the war because there was a couple years that were supposed to take place within the first part, but like I said, the timing was very odd, and so it felt like the war was very abrupt. The third part was a little bit confusing because it almost felt like a completely different book. I also will tell you to check the trigger warnings for this book. I got a comment on my TikTok when I was saying that I was about to start reading this book, and they said, just to let you know, this book is very dark, and I didn't realize that they actually meant that this was very, very dark book. This book talks heavily about war and the tragedies of war, but a lot of the stuff that happens is very real with what happens during war times, and so I think that there is a place for this graphic content, but just be aware before you read this book. Life's too short to read books that you don't absolutely love, and I don't find myself wanting to pick up the second book. We're going to be moving on to our third and final book of this video. I have 2 options to choose between. We have Remarkably Bright Creatures, which I've been wanting to read. This is a recent release, so I have not had this on my TBR for a very long time. The second option is going to be a novel love story by Ashley Poston, so I'm deciding between these two. This one is more of a happy romance book, and so I'm kind of leaning towards this one because the Poppy War was very dark, and I think I just need a palate cleanser. This is the second book that I'm going to be reading by this author. Well, technically, I didn't finish the first one I read by her. I started reading The 7-Year Slip, which I know a lot of people love, but I ended up not finishing that one. I stopped at around 40%. I just felt like it was very slow, but I'm always willing to give an author a second try. I wanted to update you guys on the book, so I am now on chapter 5. I'm about 40 pages in, and I am absolutely loving the vibe of this book so far. This is just giving cozy, rainy reading vibes, and I am obsessed with it. It is now the next day and I have made so much progress on a novel love story. I'm more than halfway done with this book and it is absolutely flying by. Give you a little bit of backstory on what's going on. We have our main character, and every single year her and her book group, they go to a cabin and they basically just read romance books and drink wine. And so that's what her plan was, but everyone in the group backed out, but she decided that she really needs the break. And so she took the 16-hour drive to go to the cabin. But during the trip, her car breaks down and she gets stuck in a rainstorm in this small little town. Luckily, she gets invited to sleep in the loft of a bookstore. And when she wakes up in the morning, she slowly realizes that this town is very, very familiar, and so are the people in it. And she comes to realize that this is the town straight out of her favorite romance series. There is a mystery element because she can't figure out why she's in this town. The one thing I'm a little bit confused by is I feel like our relationship came out of literally nowhere, and the male character Anders is very grumpy, and then it was like a light switched and everything kind of changed, and now he seems interested in our female main character. It just does not feel very believable, and it feels very surface level because they really do not know each other that well. This book reminds me a lot of Once Upon a Time. I don't know if you guys have seen that TV show. I think it's on Disney Plus now. I think that this cover is so beautiful and I think the colors are just amazing. But at the same time, I feel like this cover does not match the vibe of the book. I just finished a novel love story by Ashley Poston. Overall, I'm going to be rating this book a 3 out of 5 stars. There were a lot of aspects that I really enjoyed that made this book fly by very quickly. I thought that the atmosphere was very cozy. I loved the magical element that she was in the town that she spent so many years reading about. I thought that the writing was very easy to follow and understand, and the chapters flew by very quickly. I felt like the romance was not very believable, and I hate to say that because I wanted to love these two characters together. I feel like they had no chemistry. I just felt like this romance was very unrealistic, and I know you're probably thinking like, girl, they were in a town that was not even real to begin with. And see, I get that. I get that. I know that this was not a real town and this is obviously a fiction book. But I feel like there would have been so many things that could have been added into this to make the romance believable and make me want to root for these two characters to end up together. But if I take out the romance part of this book and think about the writing and the atmosphere and the other characters, I really did enjoy this book. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching this video. I had a lot of fun making this because I find when I mood read, that's when I enjoy reading the absolute most. I will say that my favorite book that I read in this video was Shield of Sparrows. I definitely recommend that book. I am about to start filming a 24-hour reading challenge, so if you're interested in that, that should be up within the next couple of days. Let me know down below in the comments if you've read any of these books that I read, and thank you guys.